Yo, it's Captain bringing you a Dark Souls Diary number 29. Right, 29. And today it was a shorter day. It was kind of just like a bonus short day. And we just did a little bit of cleanup in the Painted World of Ariamis, Aribamas. Captain, the joke was old yesterday. Look, I'm still on it. We just did a little bit of cleanup, primarily the well, which is actually like the catacombs, but and doing like a find a little bit of secrets, just finishing it off. We really beat it yesterday, but today we just completed it essentially. Well, it's technically a thing we didn't do, but whatever. So that's really it. It probably will actually be a shorter video today. Probably. God, I hope. And I don't know, because it was just a real chill day. It was just real chill casual. I got started way later than I wanted, but we had a really good time. And it kind of worked out because like the next thing I want to do after this area is finally go to the catacombs with our dragon bone fist, right? And we can finally just punch some skeletons, which we got to try out today. Because like I said, the well became the catacombs, so we actually get to try it out. It worked pretty well, so I'm looking forward to that. But I wouldn't have wanted, I feel like the catacombs is going to be its whole own adventure, and I didn't want to like try to start it today and not get done with it, you know what I mean? So it kind of worked out. We just chilled and finished off the Painted World. I went back in like again. We left and I went back in again. It was just, oh my goodness, I can't get out of it. I just love it too much. I just love that fuzzy girl with the tail. I can't get enough of her, I guess. I just have to keep going back in until she until she tells me to stay instead of rejecting me and telling me to leave. One day she will accept us. We will continue to fight the phalanx until she recognizes our glory and honor. And then and then she's like, "Yes, honorable knight, stay with me." Then she'll wrap her tail around us. We can just fall asleep in peace and happiness. I don't know. I don't know. Look, don't judge me. I don't know where I'm going with this, dude. I ain't slept enough in the past few days. So that's what we did today. Was that kind of thing. And actually, let me get into this before I go on that other path to darkness. Uh, Speaking of phalanx, that's kind of what we started to today because we had finally sat at the bonfire, right? And so everything respawned. I was like, it's okay. We just got to get to the well. The well's just in there. We might have to fight phalanx again, but whatever. Maybe we can farm it. And we did. I went and fought phalanx again and cheesed it just as much as we did last. It's a little harder cheesing it around the little box cells than it was on the stairwell because they actually couldn't get up the stairwell, but they can go around the box cells. So you gotta like, make sure you're not getting surrounded. And you get like a lot of souls. It's over 10,000. I don't think it's 15,000. I think it's like somewhere in there. And that's a lot. It's like 30,000 for me to level up at level 70. So, it's practically you kill phalanx twice and you're gonna have a level. It's pretty nice. It's actually so good that I'm tempted to just kind of farm souls here because usually it's either like super hard but you get some souls, or it's not that hard but you don't get any souls, right? Like this seems to be the best farm that I've found in the game. And it's still annoying. I still don't like farming souls, and I did die to the phalanx. Because I killed him once and I was like, well, I killed him once and then we ended up sitting in a bonfire and I was like, well, I'll just kill him again. He's good souls. And he totally like jumped me because if you're not hiding behind something, because there's no hit protection, right? So if 3 things hit you at once, you take full damage from all 3 of those things. And phalanx is 10 things. that is stabbing and poking and throwing. So it's not like, there's 10 of them and only like 2 or 3 of them can get in front of you, but it doesn't matter because the other 7 are behind them like throwing stuff. It's terrible. It's terrible. So you really got to hide behind the things, and I did. I got jumped. Inevitably, when you're sitting there just killing something that's tedious like that, you just, at least I do, I just zone out and I start playing more riskily because I'm getting bored, and I'm just like, I'm over this shit. And then of course it's like and then I'm mad, right? Because I was bored of the enemy, and now all of a sudden it's killed me. It's like, what? You should have been paying attention, Captain. Like, ugh. So I was mad and complaining about stuff because the buffer. I had a lot of trouble with the buffer today. I don't know. Sometimes it's worse than others, but it's like you can legitimately hit a button and it not, and because of various things that are happening in the game, that button not activate until like 3 to 4 seconds later. And when you're not expecting it, and so you'll just like randomly attack in the wrong direction, just randomly roll when you don't mean to, and you roll the wrong place. So it was stuff like that that got me killed. But whatever, it's an old game, man. I'm hoping the new ones will be better about that kind of stuff. But it's giving me like Smash Brothers vibes. It's reminded me of like playing Ultimate on McDonald's Wi-Fi. And the kind of shit that happens where you feel like you're cute. It's like you feel like you're ordering. Speaking of McDonald's, feels like you're ordering a move and you gotta wait for them to bring it out. Like, yeah, I'm gonna do this combo. It's like, all right. Oh, there it is. It's so strange. So we did a little phalanx farm, and then I got tired of dying to them and farming them, and I was like, this sucks. And so I just started running past them. I did get enough for a level up, so I leveled up. So we had like half of a level up, so I leveled up. So I didn't have any souls, so I felt confident about exploring on again, because I didn't know it was gonna be in the sewer, the sewer. I don't know why I'm calling it sewer. I called it well the whole stream. Now I'm calling it sewer. I didn't know it'd be in the well. But I found it. You wrap around there. You go in, you go to the left, you wrap around, and you go to the well. I went down the well, and I was shocked. I was confused. I was scared because I went down the well yesterday, or the day before, the play before, last time I played, and it didn't look like what it looked like when I went down the well today. And I was like, what? I was like, did something happen? Did I hit a switch at some point? Because you don't know in this game. This game's crazy. Like, you might hit a switch and then go in the same door, and it's a completely different place. It's a whole new secret zone. Like, this game's wild. So I was like, did I hit something? I don't remember hitting any switches. And my problem yesterday was I couldn't find the switch to hit. I was like, well, what happened? I thought maybe, maybe because I had sat at the bonfire, it changed. I actually went back up. Because I went in a little bit, and it was tight corridors and confusing. It was a lot like the sewer, right? It was these really tight corridors, so I could swing my hammer, and it was confusing, and there was all these like T intersections. I was thinking to myself, this is not what I want. This is scarier than I want to do. Because yesterday I went down. It was a much bigger ladder, and then I looked into like a cavern. It was this huge cavern, and I was intimidated because I was like, why is it so wide and open? What's going to be down there? But that's what I was expecting. I was expecting to go down there, explore the wide open area, use my hammer, and instead I get these claustrophobic tunnels. And I'm like, what is going on? So I actually went back up. This is why I went to the bonfire again. I went back up, went to the bonfire, because it's like, maybe resets on bonfire, maybe I did something. And I ran straight to it, and I went back down. I think this is when I died to phalanx, to be honest. And so it was time consuming. I'm sure people were like, oh my god, this is insane. But I don't know how it works. So I'm cautious. I'm being careful. I'm testing things. Eventually, I get back down there, and I said, well, I don't know how this works. I even like explored around up top again. I was like, what am I missing? I didn't want to go too far because I didn't want to start activating the toxin guys, because I still haven't bought any antitoxin. Like I got one, but it's just one. I had one which was made me confident enough to try the well to see what was down there, um, but not to like re-clear the whole area. So I eventually gave up, went back down the well, and started going in the tunnels. And in the tunnels, we found our first bone wheel skeleton, our first wheel skeleton, and he was amazing. I love these things. I hate these things, but I love these things. They're so crazy. They're quite iconic, and they always seem to be like a surprise. And I guess this is the first one. I don't know if it's the first one in the whole game. I don't know if they're anywhere else. I don't know if this was the first one in the series, but it was my first one. And he jumps me, and I've got the fist, right, which is one-handed. So I do have a shield. It looks really stupid. But what else am I gonna put in the other hand? It's only one fist. You don't get two. You don't get the 1-2 punch. You I guess you could equip another fist, I guess. But there's only the one good fist, and it ain't even that good. So I'm not gonna put on another fist. They're all even worse. So I just use a shield. So I just reflexively blocked when I saw the skeleton. I didn't know it was a wheel skeleton. I just reflexively blocked because it was a skeleton. It surprised me, and then I could tell it was about to attack. So I put the block up, and that block stayed up because when those things go wheels, they go, and as long as they are wheeling, they have essentially contact damage. They're doing rapid fire attacks. Basically, if you touch the wheel while it's spinning, it is a rapid fire attack, and it'll just chunk your health. It'll but I had blocked, so it was chunking my stamina instead, and I had enough stamina because I've got a strength and endurance build. So we lived through it, and then I was like, holy snaps, and then he finally stopped, and then I just punched him because I was actually caught in block stun the whole time. It was really wild. I thought he just hit me a couple times and then stop, and I'd get to do, but no, he was just spinning against. He was just grinding against my shield. I was like, yo, am I gonna run out? Is this guy gonna stop? Like what? Like what's going on? And he finally did stop, like right before I ran out of stamina. So then we punched him and he died. I was like, okay, he dies. As long as they die, I'm okay. So then I was like, oh no, it's these tight tunnels and they're gonna be filled with bone wheels, skeleton wheels. But it was fun. It was exciting. It was a new enemy, an iconic enemy that even I knew from the series. So that was cool. And then and then not only is it tunnels and skeleton wheels, there's secret walls too. So you get to dead ends that just look a little too weird. And so I punched it, and of course it goes away. And then there's another skeleton right behind it. Like, oh my god. And then so I shield because I'm like, I learned how to do this. I shield until they stop. So I'm shielding, and then there's another one right behind him. So now there's two of them. And I think like one zooms past me, and I'm like, oh my god. And I try to take him out. And I did take him out. And so then I'm like, well, all right, maybe you're supposed to dodge him and let him run into the wall or something. I found out later that's not the case because I dodged one and it hit that was my beep. I dodged one and it hit the wall. They just stay spinning. I actually don't know what stops them. He actually killed me because he hit the wall, and then I thought he would finish, so I wasn't blocking or anything. And then of course the physics jank out, and he like runs against the wall and touches me and then shreds me, really? That is some bullshit. But I don't know. I actually just had a lot of fun with them. Even when they murdered me, they just were entertaining to me. There was a time where I like ran from them. I ran from them and climbed up a ladder, and I just looked down, and they're just all down there, just spinning on the wall, just like let me at him, like what is this? It's so silly. It's so silly. But the thing is, once we broke that secret wall and dealt with the two that were ambushed us right there, I then walked into a large cavern. And I was like, oh my god, is this the cavern? Where is this? And I saw the ladder. I looked across it, and I saw the ladder. I'm like, oh, I'm at the other end of the cavern. This must have been the guy that I saw and noped out last time. It was these bone wheels, these skeleton wheels. I don't want to call them bone wheels now. So like, oh, I was like, there it is. And I was like, all right, I just need to get to the ladder and go up and see what the hell I got wrong. Like, why did I think, are there two wells? I spent a long time in the courtyard looking for a second well, okay? Because I was convinced that there was to be two wells, because why would I go down this one and it'd be completely different? So then I saw this area, because I was worried that like I lost it, like it was like a random chance to get the cavern, and it was, I'll never get it again. So I was really excited to see the cavern and I didn't miss anything. But then I was like, where does that other ladder go? Because I saw it in the distance. And here I actually, here I have a clip for this. I had a little more fun with bone wheels. Let's see if I got this set up properly. I had a little more fun with bone wheels trying to find that ladder. So here's the cavern. I was like, oh my god, I found the cavern. And I'm like, oh, there's a switch. That's probably important. And then then it's like, it's full of bone wheels. All right, it's not too bad. Punch the bone wheel, and I'm like, oh my god. All right, okay, all right. Punch that bone wheel. Heal. Oh no, oh no. Dude, it's they're insane. So it's like. And he just walks off. Dude just casually walks off. What a Chad. So you could see in the background there, right before I died, that was the ladder that I had come down. And so I desperately wanted to know where it went. And then instead I got boned with to death. But you saw the worst part of those guys. If they run you into a wall, like I said, they're just a permanent hitbox. They're essentially contact damage while... like infinite contact damage while they're spinning. So if they run you into a wall and pin you there, they will just spin until you die. There's no hit protection, right? You can get hit 15 times in a row if you get hit 15 times, and or you can hit 15 times at the same time, or really like comboed, because there's no combo protection, no hit protection. So if they run you into a wall and they are spinning while you're on the wall, that's just constant ticking contact damage, and you saw how fast it went. It goes pretty fast. So it was pretty scary, but they were quite fun. And there's like, I don't know, there's like 4 or 5 in that big cavern. And so when I finally did, next time I went in there, I think next time I went in there is when that was when that one that like skidded on the wall and killed me. But then I went in there and I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm tired of these guys running me into walls. I'm just gonna run for the ladder and figure out where it goes, right? Like I desperately want to know where that ladder goes. So I ran down there and I dodged all the wheels. I killed a couple on the way, and I was like, all right, maybe I can kill them. And then they all started kind of like, no, I'm running. And then and so I went up the ladder, and that's when I looked down. They were all just down there spinning like, we're gonna get him. They spun for like a minute. I like left and I came back and they were still spinning. They finally, I moved around the hole and they finally stopped, and then I jumped on top of them and hammered him, which was pretty satisfying. But it turns out that ladder does not take you to a well. I had just misremembered from the day before. I had went down a ladder, assumed I had went down the well. I had never went down the well. I found another ladder. It's also only accessible through the courtyard, so you're not gonna be able to get to it until you can get to the well in the first place. You got to go through that fog door or that fog wall and get to the courtyard. But I think it's like up above the main door to the castle. So that door's locked. You have to get into. You have to deal with all the bullshit and toxin to get to the fog wall that lets you into the courtyard. And then if you get across the courtyard through phalanx and stuff, you can then open the door. But once you're around there are some like ways up to some ledges and stuff on the other side of the door, but above it. And so I think it's one of those you wrap around, and there's another longer ladder down that takes you down to the catacombs, and that takes you to the big cavern. And then there's a secret exit in the cavern that connects it to a secret wall in the cavern that connects it to the tunnels under the well. So I kind of came at it backwards, I think, because there was soapstone that was like, hey, there's a secret wall here, but it was under the 2 skeletons, so the implication was you beat up the skeletons, and then it says, "Hey, don't forget about the secret wall." But I came in the other way, so I punched the secret wall, and the skeleton's like, "What?" So that was fun. But then I explored the tunnels under the well, and the whole thing just reminded me. The whole thing, like, I think I had heard somewhere that this game was inspired by Zelda, like the 3D Zeldas, and they just wanted something more challenging and more dark. And I really feel that, to be honest. Like, this is the most, all the Metroidvania. Did I talk about this? I forget if I talked about it in a video or on stream. But all the, like, the Metroidvania elements from Zelda, uh, for the exploration, not the items, that unlock areas. You don't ever get like new move sets or something. I mean, I guess technically you get items, but you don't. They're just like keys. They're not like a new move or a new ability. It's just a key. Uh, but that whole exploration of finding new places, finding something in one place that you got to go back to an old place, and now you can use that thing to open a new door, which might be a whole new place. That whole Metroidvania exploration element that was present in 3D Zelda, um, particularly like in Ocarina of Time and whatnot, and then it started leaning more into the items and unlocking things. But just think about bombs, how you get bombs and it's a new ability, but then you can go back and bomb all sorts of walls and open up new places. That part, it feels like this game leaned into the exploration part even more than Zelda does these days. And it's kind of a shame because I hear the later games don't do that as much. Is Dark Souls 1 is the one that's commended for its really intricate level design and the kind of wrapping back in on itself and the shortcuts. I mean, that's all Metroidvania stuff. And it's one of my favorite types of exploration, is that just that really excellent sense of discovery and finding new things, finding new areas. It's like Hollow Knight, right? Like Hollow Knight did that really, really well, where you would just drop down and find like a little secret, and you'd get a whole new area, and then you'd find a whole new area. Like, it just kept opening up, and that's probably the last time I felt that in my memory, because I played it later. Like, I played Ocarina of Time, but I played that a long time ago. I played other Metroidvania, so I played that a long time ago. Hollow Knight did that really, really well, that part of it, and I feel like this game has done that part of Metroidvania also really, really well, even though it's not really a Metroidvania, but neither is Zelda, but Zelda also has a lot of Metroidvania elements, so it's that I guess we call it a Metroidvania level design or something. So it was just really nice. I don't know. So, but anyway, why the hell am I talking about it? Because underneath the well, right? If this game is truly inspired by Zelda, we go down this well and we got these tunnels, and they're spooky, and there's a bunch of secret walls to make it a little bit confusing, and there's spooky, scary skeletons, right? This is just like under the well in Ocarina of Time, under Kakariko Village, where you go down the well, and it's where you get the Lens of Truth. So there? A bunch of secret walls, because the Lens of Truth reveals secret walls and stuff too. So there's a bunch of secret walls, and what else is down there? A bunch of spooky, scary stuff. You got Dead Hand, the big zombie, and he's terrifying, right? Like, all of a sudden Zelda turns into a horror game, and it's right, and here we are playing, like, inspired, like the scary Zelda, and they have a little, I don't know if it's meant to be an homage, but it felt like a little homage to me of, here we go, here's their Kakariko well section, and it was really nice. It wasn't nearly as long, it wasn't nearly as complicated. Actually, we got through it pretty quick. There was a bunch of secret walls, but it's pretty straightforward. They're kind of obvious, and you just go through them. Behind the secrets, like I said, you find that big cavern, which gives you the switch, and that was indeed the switch that opens the final door. So now you have a straight shot from the bonfire to the boss. That door that I got blocked on yesterday when I had to make my last stand against the bridge ambush, and the guy got glitched on it. The big Roman knight. I think are those the Anne Orlando knights? Those are the guys that they either came from Anne Orlando or they came to Anne Orlando. I forget. I read some tooltip somewhere where it was talking about that. I'm pretty sure it's those guys. They're big. They're big and scary. I want their armor. But I think you can only get like messed up versions of their armor, not like the good one. You know, like decayed versions of their armor. But yeah, that bridge. So they opened that door. So you know now it opened the door to the bridge that goes to the boss. So that switch was pretty cool. It actually turned the statue around like it was this huge big mechanism. Because this whole map is very much set up to be like it's everything in this map is protecting that girl, but Priscilla apparently. Everything's protecting her. So you've got this complicated locking system. You've got her guard on the bridge. You've got like the big undead dragon on the bridge. You've got the phalanx protecting her statue, which ends up being, you know, the mechanism that opens the door. Like everything, this is a castle and it is defending her. Right. And she says this is a peaceful land full of good people because she's a fucking liar. But you know, for I like right. Apparently, this whole entourage is protecting her. Remember, there's pikes everywhere, so it seems like it's a place that has with zombies on them. So it seems like it's a place that gets like a lot of invasions and stuff. I don't know from who. It seems like they threw prisoners in here. Maybe that's where the invasions came from. Maybe the guys that are defending her are all the prisoners. Maybe that's you know, it just was a prison place and they got invasions from somewhere else. I don't know. I haven't figured that part out. That is one of the wild things. Dude, I'm on like a third tangent here. Maybe I should wait to come back to that. But there is like a lot of odd stuff here, and I've been trying to piece together the story. I'll come back to it because there's a couple other things. Just literally connect it. So I don't know how it all works, but it's all protecting her. So that's one of the things we found down under the well was the switch that made that all happen. Other things we found in the well were the annex key. It was behind some secret doors, secret walls, which I don't understand the annex key. I knew exactly where it went, but I'd also found both ends of the door. There's like a little chapel off to the side of the courtyard, and it has a door in the back that lets you open the door and you can go out back into the castle and get to the other side of the tower, but you don't need to. Like I'd already explored it. I'd already explored both sides. I found both sides of the door. I'm like, I think this is the same door. So now it's not even like a shortcut. Like I don't understand, like, because it's kind of a shortcut, but also you could just go right next to the chapel and go into the tower and climb it a little bit and you get to the same place. So I don't know. Like I went up there to kind of see and check and make sure, and then I ran into some toxin zombies, so I got out of there. Like I don't want to deal with the toxin, but I did make sure it was the same place. So I don't know how that helps you. Like I'm trying to think like, all right, well maybe if you're trying to do like a speed run, or you came, you know, it's your new game plus, and you're like, well, I can skip everything because I know I can get to the well and get the key and then go here. And I was like, well, I don't think you actually get to skip anything, you know, because you still have to go through all the toxin zombies, and right, you can't get to the well until you go through the other toxin zombies. So you have to go through the left side. Like if you're looking at the castle, the left side, you have to go through that part first, and then you can get to the courtyard, and then you can go to the well to get the key, which will open up a shortcut to the right side of the castle. However, by the time you get to the courtyard, you could also just, instead of going into the courtyard, you could just keep walking forward and you get to the right side of the castle. So like I don't understand. I really don't understand the annex door and the annex key. I don't know why it's there. I don't know why it's a locked door. I don't know what the purpose of it. I don't know how it helps you in any way. But there we now have the key and we open the door. So I mean, like it's not like you even can dodge the toxin zombies, because I went up there and what was up there? Toxin zombies. So I was like, well, maybe this is a secret way for people who know, so they don't ever have to get toxin. I don't know. I never did figure it out. But it's there. So That's the other thing. And then the third thing that was in the well was a way back up out of the well, which takes you to a chamber in the castle that you don't have access to any other way. So I think it was the last place. Unless there's some secret I missed. Yeah, I think it was the last place in the castle. And there is just a toxic zombie in the room by himself, but he doesn't attack you. Very similar to like the jail cell under in the Duke's archives, the Duke's Tower, and the tower to archive tower, whatever it's called, where all the creepy things come out after you. But there's two of them that just sit in there and cry. Now this guy didn't seem to be crying or anything. Maybe he was. It's hard to tell. He's a zombie with a giant pimple for a torso and head. But he just stands there and doesn't attack. And usually I don't attack things that don't attack me in games. But I was like, I've been in this situation before. The way this game works, the only way to interact with things, unless they give you the ability to talk to them, the only way to interact with things is to murder them and see what they drop. That's the only way to get their story. And they respawn anyways, so it's not the craziest thing. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna kill him just to see, just so we can get this story, just like I had to do with the crying tentacle things. And then they drop miracles, and you get like a little bit of a hint as to what was going on there because you read the lore on the miracles. Just like that, and just like that, he dropped a pyromancy. I wrote it down here. Fire Surge. He drops Fire Surge. And you read it, and it's very similar to the acid one we found also here, where it's like, not all pyromancies from the Great Swamp. This is one of them. And you're like, Right, and so there's this reference to pyromancy again, but not Great Swamp pyromancy. There is, and then some of the other items here had references to Velka, the goddess of sin, and they were like, Velka's not a real god, but she's powerful enough that she might as well be. And I forget, their sin is defined in the game. There's the guy that removes your sins, and I think he just pulls you out of a covenant. It's something to do with PvP, I think. I forget, I don't know what, because I haven't engaged with it. But so there's Velka, and then there's references to chaos, right? And like witches, I guess, because the chaos witches. And then there's the pimples. There's the egg, so there's the thing that clears an egg parasite. And so I'm assuming that the big toxin zombies with the giant tumors for torsos are like egg parasites, right? And there's one more guy here. There's a dark spirit invasion, and I only knew about it because I looked for the switch on the wiki the other day. And I was like, wait, what is this? I didn't see this. And it's like, yes, you have to be human and go over here. And I was like, oh, but he has a big parasite head. And people were telling me in the chat that because I hadn't associated this place with the Chaos Witch that you fight, the spider lady, and then the other spider lady that's a firekeeper, and then there's all those guys with big egg sacs on their back, right? And if you kill them, they pop into little worms. Well, people were telling me that you can let the worms suck on your head, and then they'll stay on your head, right? And like this guy had a parasite on his head. So I was like, wait, these guys have parasites. They're casting pyromancy because they have something to do with chaos. It's like they're blessed by chaos, is how they got the fire, right? Is, I think, what one of the items said yesterday. So, and it was like the Chaos Witch was the spider lady, right? And they're in Lava Town, and they're next to the demons. And I'm like, how does all this fit together? Like, how are these two places linked? Somehow this pyromancy and these parasites and the demons and Velka? But I was like, I thought all the Demon Town people were with what was her name? The Witch of Izalith. Like, I think the secret place in Demon Town has a really good chance of actually being Izalith. So I thought it was all related to her, and the witches were her stuff. But here it's implying that there's some sort of deal with chaos and parasites. But I mean, I guess the witches that she had were chaos witches too. So did she also make a deal with chaos? Is the witch of Izalith chaos? But no, it's like, well, now we got references to Velka, right? So maybe they're doing their deals with Velka. Like, I couldn't figure it out, because like I couldn't figure out how what this place is protecting people from, right? Because like, where are the invading armies coming from? That didn't make sense to me. And now it seems to be a place where they're dealing with, wild pyromancy and parasites, and they've all made deals with the parasites. And maybe it's the parasites that give them the pyromancy. Like, I'm not sure, because it is the toxin zombies that can shoot fire. So I feel like that's the deal with chaos. You get this parasite, but what is the parasite? Like, it doesn't look like a demon. It looks like a space alien thing. And then I was like, didn't Bloodborne do like, the Cthulhu from space thing? And then I was like, maybe this is just the thing they do. Yeah, I was like, with the egg sacs in Chaos Witch Town, in Demon Town, they don't look like these guys. And these guys don't pop into squirmy worm boys. They pop into toxins. So I don't know how it works. But I don't know. Maybe we'll figure it out when we go to Lava Town, and after the catacombs, which is the plan, and see what's going on there. Maybe we'll uncover the secrets of pyromancy and chaos and parasites and demons. I don't know. I did put a level in attunement because you don't need any intelligence or anything to use fire spells. You just need an attunement. And I had eight attunements, and I think you just need to get to 10. I think people have said you just get to 10, you get one. So I was like, shoot, dude, why don't we, let's just pretend that we have interacted with this chaos and the pyromancy so much that we just decided we thought it was cool. So let's put, because I remember I'm getting like a lot of souls from here. So I was like, you know what, let's put I got to strength 46 so I can one hand my demon axe. So I was like, you know what, let's put one in attunement, and then the next level we'll get attunement 2, and then I can use this I can use this fire surge, and that'll be fun. Because it was one attunement slot and had 80 uses. Like, you could really get a lot out of it. I was like, that's perfect. So we'll try that out. We'll try out our first spell, see how that goes. Then I was wondering if I could buy fireballs, but the pyromancy guy from the Firelink Shrine left, so I don't. People told me I killed him because I told him I answered his question, and everybody's like, "You just killed him." I'm like, what do you mean I killed him? I just answered his question. He's nice to me. I was nice to him. But he did indeed disappear ever since I answered his question. So I don't know where I'm supposed to buy fireballs from now. Or maybe you can't, but at least I got this fire surge. We'll have one. So the only other thing we did, I guess I really wanted a short video today. The only other thing we did was that summon. Because we're essentially done now, right? So we did the summon. Because I was like, well, I looked this thing up. We might, and I was like, you guys want to try it? Does it seem? I would have never known about this had I not looked it up. So I'm okay leaving it. We could always come back and do it later. And people are like, hey, might as well. So we became human, and then we went over to the graveyard area. So you go into the courtyard and you go to the right. Actually, it's not. That's where all the pikes are. That's where the invasion pikes are. Weirdly enough, the graveyard's all in the courtyard, which is really odd because now we know beneath the courtyard is a giant cavern and tunnels, so there's no room to bury anyone. I don't know what all the gravestones are for, but maybe that's why the caverns and the tunnels are also like catacombs and full of skeletons, because they just threw them down there and put a gravestone on top. But so if you go over to the right and where all the pikes are, you kill the zombies there, and you just apparently you run around and this guy gets summoned, and that's my other clip. Let me set it up, and you can see what happened. There you go. When I fought him, we're just running around. I didn't know how to get it to trigger, but it eventually does. This dark spirit, King Jeremiah. Jeremy has invaded. And then there he is. You see he's got that big head. He's got a big parasite head. And what does he do? He casts fire. Ooh, and it instantly kills me. Instantly kills me. Instantly kills me. Like, I saw him charging that big thing. I saw him. I want to see it again. I want to see. Like I saw him charging this big thing, and I was like, all right, he's gonna cast fireball. I'll just wait, and then I'll hit him with my hammer. No, he volcanoes. He literally volcanoes the area, creating random spawns everywhere. That I like, as I thought I was dodging them, and then all of a sudden one of them just spawned under me, and you instantly die. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. We actually did. I said, you know what? I'm not gonna waste humanity on him because I don't know how many attempts it's gonna take, and I only got so many humanities. So we actually left after that because we had beat it essentially, and on the way out, I didn't realize, but on the way out, like you got to kill that big bridge soldier again. He dropped a humanity. He also dropped a large Titanite shard. I don't know if it's guaranteed, but I've killed him twice. I got a large Titanite shard both times. Might be better than trying to buy him, because at least it's an active kind of thing to do. But so I got out of the painting and I realized I had a humanity, and I was like, wait, we can try that guy again. I got a free humanity, so I actually went back into the painting a third time. I just can't get away from the painting. That's what I was telling you. I need that tail. So we went back in and we challenged him again. I was like, all right, look, I'm pretty sure as long as I hit him, the thing that I messed up was I let him finish his cast. I thought he was just going to shoot me with a fireball and I would dodge it and bonk him, right? But that's not it. I got to stop his cast because he's going to volcano. So I ran in there and of course I whiffed the first one, but I was able to hit him and he died in like 2 hits because my hammer is very big. Like if I hit somebody, they're pretty much gonna die. It's all about just making sure I can get the hit in. Like that's the whole play style. It's the whole build. So I just was like, all right, he did it again. He started the volcano again. I was like, no, and I just ran in there and bonk, and he goes, woo, because his big old head, right, woo, and then I just hit him again, and he was dead. He like the first hit almost killed him, and so then you kill him. What does he drop? He drops the whip. He apparently has a like a thorn whip that can bleed you. And I didn't do it because we ran out of time. But killing him, if you go back to the boss now, there's now a corpse back there, and it'll have an item, and it has all of his armor. So you can get his armor, and that's where you can read it. I'm gonna do it like first thing next time we play, but I can tell you about it now because I did see it on the wiki. That's where you read it, and it talks. He's some king from somewhere, and people were drawing all sorts of connections with the lore of like him being this king and having ties to here and what that means. And I kind of just skimmed it because I don't know what any of it means, and I don't want to read something that I might find out later. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather try to piece it together myself before I go deep dive in the lore. But one of the things that I did notice is that big head thing is not a big head thing. It says it's a big bandage for a parasite. Like he's got one of the parasites, and he's got like a really big parasite, and he's got the best fire magic too. So it's like, right here's another. They're taking these parasite eggs, and they're getting fire damage. And I think I read somewhere it's a deal with chaos, right? Which brings us back to the chaos witches, and they have the pyromancy too, but their eggs are like, on their backs, and they're like little worms. But the worms make sense for him because if a worm was on his head, and people said the worms can go on your head, so right, like there's a tie in there somewhere. I just haven't figured it out. We'll figure it out. But yeah, then we ran out of time, and I was like, all right, well, I'll go get the armor next time. It's really cool looking armor except for the head, but it doesn't have any poise or anything. It doesn't have much defense. It just looks cool. So I don't know. I might go for it for fashion, but I don't know if I can live without a little bit of poise. Like a long time ago, I said that the poise breaks the game, and I think it does. But I also think at some point the game is, like tedious enough. It's hard enough. It's punishing. It's punishing and frustrating enough that it sure is nice to be able to just take a hit. Like I think I'm at the point of the game where it doesn't feel like I'm cheesing. because I've ever since I started wearing the poise armor, because I really fought it for a while, and I was like, dude, I think I'm getting jumped left and right. It's like I think even with the poise armor, I still feel like it's I don't feel like it's breaking the game anymore. I feel like it would have early, but now it doesn't. Now it just feels like it's giving me a little bit of a chance. So I think that I don't know if the game difficulty ramped up, like there's just more enemies and they're tougher and you're taking more hits, or I was just off base with my first assessment. I don't think I was, because I really did, we fought through the painting guardians. Speaking of being here at the painting, we fought through the painting guardians. It was really challenging, it was really tense, it was really stressful. And then I put on, and then you get the black iron armor at the end. And so we sat at the bonfire, I put it on, people told me to try it, I put it on, and I walked back in there, and they were not tense, they were not stressful, they were not really challenging, because they could hit me and I could just hit them back. And it was super, super easy. And like that was a fundamentally different game. So I feel like I'm not wrong in how it breaks the game. But I do, my current thought is that at some point it makes it, the game is hard enough. And the advantage helps. Because at this point I don't need to be having a super tense fight with the painting guardians. I've got bigger fish to fry, right? I don't need to be worried about little tiny zombies. I've got bigger problems. I'm ready. I've leveled up enough that it's kind of nice to be able to ignore these guys a little bit. They'll still kill me if I look the wrong way, but at least I can, trade with them. If I have to, if I want to ignore them or I just don't want to deal with them, I can just tank the hit and hit them back and move on. Whereas before I'd have to you'll play all around them, make sure I'm dancing and dodging and never getting hit and stuff. So it's nice just to have a little bit of poise, particularly with a big slow weapon, where if we trade, they die, right? So, it's like, I'll take that trade. It becomes a tactical choice. It's like, yeah, I'll take the health hit just to kill this one. So I don't know if I'd go with that armor. So ironically, I might, maybe it's not ironically, but oddly enough, I might end up just going with the helmet because it's just so weird. I don't want as much as I would want the armor but not the helmet, but gameplay wise, I don't want the armor, and so I might as well go with the helmet because weird helmets are a fun part of the game. We'll see. We'll get it next time we play. But that was our journey today. That was our 29th play of Dark Souls. First time Dark Souls. Should have said that at the beginning, in case it's the first one you clicked on. But if you made it this far on the first one you clicked on, thanks. Nice being here. But that was our 29th play of Dark Souls. First time Souls, and it was just clearing out the Painted World of Ariamis. And it was a good time. I feel like we've conquered it. I feel like we've completed that area. I didn't do the boss, but she talks to me, so I don't feel like I'm not killing anybody that talks to me this playthrough. So I guess I haven't done the whole Painted World of Ariamis, but everything else I did, and I liked it. I thought it was a cool area. The toxins sucked, but if you know it's coming, all you really got to do is make sure you have antidote. So as long as you don't get stuck here without antidote, I think you're okay. And it's pretty fun. I liked it. I really liked exploring the castle. I liked finding the well and how there was like a whole nother world down there, and it felt like an homage to Ocarina of Time. I liked the undead dragon. I like the phalanx. I like the little mystery. I like the little story the whole place tells. I like that it gives me questions for the lore. It gives me more pieces, but also gives me more questions, like pieces of the puzzle, but also gives me more questions on what the puzzle is. I think that's really fun. And the skeleton wheels were a highlight for me today. I really enjoyed those goofy ass things. I really did. So there you go. That was our Dark Souls diary number 29. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope whatever you do is a good time. And I will move the mouse. I will catch you in the next one. Have a good one.